What's up, Kryptonites? Welcome back to Kryptonite, where I believe that cryptocurrency and the blockchain are the kryptonite of our modern financial system, and I love it. I know you guys love it too. Guys, I am back on the charts today. Some big news today. I did lose a trade overnight, and I'm going to show you exactly why I lost that trade and why just some very basic technical analysis would have stopped me from getting into this trade. But I don't know if I got lazy. I don't know if I just had a brain fart. But I literally discovered this pattern the next morning, and I just was like slapping my like, oh my gosh, like how did I not see that pattern? Like it was so freaking obvious, and I would never have entered that long position had I seen that pattern. But I missed it, and then the next morning I discovered it, and I realized, yeah, no wonder I lost the trade. Absolutely. However, guys, things did get rectified. I did just take a trade a couple hours ago, and I did end up winning that trade. I'm going to show you that trade. Well, you can actually kind of see that trade as well. You can actually see both trades on this. I keep forgetting that you can see both me and the screen. So you can actually see both of my trades today. In fact, this one that's currently going right here, I actually still left a little bit on the table. Oops, let me get, there we go. I left a little bit on the table right here. So I still have a little bit running, but I took like 90% profit right there at that line because I learned, if you guys watched my previous video, I talked about that mistake I made where I got greedy and I didn't want to set a take profit and then ended up hitting my take profit perfectly and then coming way back down, and I basically made nothing because I just got too greedy. So I have been learning from mistakes. I've been making sure to always set my take profits immediately, at least 90% of the trade, and then I let 10% run. I move my stop loss up into take profit, and we just have fun for the rest of the ride. It's a nice free ride. So right now I'm having a nice little free ride with this guy. So before I get into my trades, I'm going to break those down more towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. We're going to go over Bitcoin, and we're going to see what's going on in the long term, work our way down. As always, we want that big picture in mind. Let me get here. Let me hide all this stuff for just a little bit here. So as you can see here on the weekly chart, we are right now making somewhat of a double bottom type formation at our previous high here. But more importantly, if we go back farther, which this chart doesn't, unfortunately, sorry about that, there's actually another. We had a nice blow off top that came right here, and then it came back down. So not only do we have this little high, this little poke here, but we also have a longer term high right there. I'll try to get a different chart that has I use Bybit's chart, but obviously I need to use the more long-term chart. So as I was saying in my last video, we were starting to print this candle formation that is still in play even with it coming down, and that is what's called a tweezer bottom. That's when you get a candle down, it literally stays at the exact same point and then comes right back up. That is a tweezer bottom, tweezer top that usually represents a trend reversal. So seeing this candle pattern play out on the weekly time frame is quite bullish. Again, we still have another 4 days, 22 hours before this candle closes. But if we're able to get, at least half of this red candle or more in a bullish engulfing with the tweezer bottom, I think that is a huge sign that we may have hit a temporary bottom and that we are headed up at least back to around 30K before maybe getting rejected again. And as you can see here on the RSI, we are getting very close to that oversold. We were oversold, we came back up, and we're actually over that 50 as well. So we do have positive momentum as well as still being pretty oversold. All right, now this is actually showing the hourly one, which isn't super relevant to this time frame. Let's jump down to the daily. Of course, guys, we have, as I've been showing you, we've been in this falling wedge pattern. In fact, I'm going to jump to a different chart that's going to have it a little bit better. I redid all my charts today to try to, oh wow, things got real dark in my face just now. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that. So as you can see, guys, we've been in this falling wedge for a while. Now falling wedges have a bullish breakout tendency. So I do think at some point we will get a breakout from this falling wedge. Now here's what's cool. Right here, we are getting supported here from our very long time resistance. Again, look at this, strong, a nice bullish engulfing again off this level. To me is a sign that we're going up, and it's why I was looking for longs. Unfortunately, I did miss that long that I'll go into later, but I did hit on the second long. So you can't give up, You just got to keep going after the next trade. You never know when the next trade's going to come through. So I do think we have some strong upside from here with this kind of candle formation at such a strong resistance level. Now let's jump down into the 12-hour. In fact, let's see if we got some divergences brewing here. All right, on the 12-hour, as you can see, guys, we had this nice bullish divergence right here and here, and we've been seeing a nice little upswing from there. Nice little bullish engulfing forming. Got about 9 hours left on that bad boy. So again, I do think we have some nice short-term upside. Again, we do have this line here, which kind of represents kind of one of our trend lines here. So maybe we come back up, retest it. I also got the VPVR showing us a nice area right here that it wants to kind of get sucked back into. These VPVR areas tend to be, it wants to come back to that area. It's like a magnet. So anyway, things I'd say, again, like I said, in my last video I was talking about I am looking for long positions. We are just at such a strong area of support. It's hard for me not to look at long positions. And unfortunately, one of them failed, but this one succeeded, and I will be looking for more. Again, same thing. And not too much of a divergence there on the 4-hour. Obviously, we had one right here. Or did we? Maybe we didn't. Anyway, guys, let me just jump in. Let's show you my trades here from earlier. And let's get everything back on the chart again. All right. So here's my trade from earlier. As you can see, this is the pattern that I didn't see. We were coming up here. We're looking very bullish. We had reclaimed this previous level here that we had been fighting with, right? We reclaimed it. We retested it. And we shot up again. And then I did have, I think I redid my charts, but I did have my other charts. I did have another level right here, which again, we got some, I don't think it was as strong as level as it could have been, but as you can see, you could technically say, hey, look, we got a little support level here because you got a hit from there, went down, we had a hit there, broke up above it, right? So got some support, came up again, right? And so this is where I took the trade. Because I thought, okay, we just broke this level here. And I don't think I had this resistance level there either. And we came down, and so I thought this is just a retracement in this continued uptrend. And we did get one more uptrend here, right? But then we immediately got rejected back down, and then ended up losing the trade. In fact, I think I took the trade. I think I might have taken it more somewhere in here. I can't remember exactly where I took it. I had to redo this earlier. But anyway, I lost that trade, and I was pretty disheartened. And then later on, I looked, and I drew these lines here, and it was clear that we were in a rising wedge. And look how we came down and perfectly hit the very perfect bottom technical price target of the falling wedge. So I literally was so mad today that I did not see this obvious pattern, because if I had seen this right here, oh, we just hit the top of this pattern right here, and I would have and on top of that too, if you come back here, and I don't think I had this on my chart either, I just wasn't looking at the right chart, we do have this, resistance level here that we had come up as well. So not only did we have the pattern of the rising wedge, which has a negative, bias breakout, but we also had this falling wedge that we're in that was clearly showing that we were at a strong area of resistance. And so I completely missed both of these patterns. Again, I think maybe sometimes my charts get a little too crazy and it starts to confuse me. And so I miss stuff. So I have to sort of periodically go through and just remove like a bunch of stuff from my charts, start from scratch. So that way things are not too cluttered. So I think maybe my clutteringness, I don't know if that's a word or not, but caused me to miss that clear. I mean, I feel like I would have easily taken a short there. I would have seen this strong resistance. I believe we even had a bearish divergence at that point, if I remember correctly. Let's see if we can find it. I think where we were at that point. Let's go to the 15. Yeah, so we had clear, look, boom, higher high, lower high. So we had a clear bearish divergence. The stochastic was still kind of in the mid-range there, but still clear bearish divergence at that level. I mean, that would have been just a prime short opportunity, but I ignored those indicators because I thought that the trend was just so bullish that we were just going to keep going. And so I got destroyed on that trade. mad because that would have been an easy short position had I just seen those other lines that I had missed. So after redoing this technical analysis, I realized, oh my gosh, we're in this falling wedge. We had this rising wedge. Total brain fart on my part. But I did not let that deter me. As the next day happened, we got I pretty much woke up to this. So we got this rejection down. I realized I'd lost the trade. Sucks. So then we get this bounce. And at first, I was looking for short positions. I was thinking, okay, well, maybe this is going to come and get rejected by this resistance line. So I was waiting to take a short here and kind of continue the trend there. But I held back because I thought, man, we just came from such a strong area of support, making a potential double bottom. On top of that, we're at that really long-term support line, right? Like I talked about at the beginning. So those two factors kind of was like, I just don't feel too good about a short position. And on top of that, we didn't even reject off this line. We literally shot straight through it. So at that point, I was like, all right, shorts are done. Screw that. So then we get rejected here from this line, start retracing down, and that's when I decide, and I think I swore I got on this trade a little earlier than this. But at some point here, I saw that we were coming down, and I really felt like this was just a retracement in the trend, right? And I saw that, okay, well, we did get a little, actually no, because I did see we did get a nice, I believe a 3-line strike, if I'm not mistaken. We got a nice 3-line strike off of the 618, so that's when I decided to get in. And then as you can see, we came up, came down, and luckily I had, so one of the things I do whenever I'm doing this kind of trade, where it's a retracement trade, you always put your stop loss below the 382, which you know is kind of in this weird yellow color. You probably can't see it. So these are the main 3 retracement levels: the 618, the 0.5, and the 382. So you always put your stop loss below the 382, because if it retraces and you get a bullish formation off one of those areas, it has a very good chance of continuing the trend. Once it gets below that, the odds of the trend continuing are pretty low. So again, look at this perfect stop loss placement, guys. Set it right below the 382, right below this support line. So I had the support line, I had the 382 line, and it came down all the way and literally almost touched my stop loss within, gosh, probably about $30 of hitting my stop loss, kicking me out of the trade, and I would have missed out on all this. But luckily, guys, I had that nice stop loss placement right there, which came through absolutely clutch. And then, boom, as you can see, we had this sort of broadening, descending wedge here that we broke out of. Hit my price target, took 90% profit, like a good trader should. And now letting the rest ride. However, though, we are getting oversold a little bit in some areas. So, and we are at this, again, very strong resistance area. So I don't necessarily think this is going to continue too much farther. Again, I do have the 1618 as a potential target, which I might take the rest of my profits at. Or I might just honestly just trail the stop loss and just see what happens. So pretty excited about this trade. And again, I had good trader psychology in this one, and I let this trade play out. I multiple times I thought about exiting this trade. I really did, guys. But I've been trying to learn from my mistakes, which if you've watched my previous videos, I've talked about. I have a lot of trouble staying in trades because I see those red candles and I see us getting into loss, and I start thinking maybe I shouldn't be in this trade. Maybe I should cut my losses. But I've been trying to be a good trader and trying to just say, you know what? If I lose the money, I lose the money. Oh, well, I'll move on to the next trade. And that's exactly the mentality I had here. I even went and did some Instacart during this time just to kind of stay off the charts so I would not exit early. So I was like, I'll go make some money doing Instacart so that way I don't feel pressure like I need to exit this trade, because hey, I'm going to go make some money and I'll be away from the charts, and so I won't even be around to deal with the emotion of what this trade happens here. One of the best decisions I made, because I actually made some money doing Instacart, and as you can see, I made some money on this trade, and we're actually still continuing to make a little bit of money here too. So super excited, guys. Again, I am going to be continuously looking for long positions from this strong area of support. Again, we got this nice double bottom going here right now, which I think if we pull out one of my pattern charts, you can kind of see a little bit better. Just to kind of see maybe where a price target on that is. Oh, another thing that kept me in the trade is also of note was the Heiken Ashi 1 hour candles, right? So we had made these 2 1 hour. Actually, you know what? It's great. I was away from the charts during those 2 red Heiken Ashi candles, and I honestly might have panic sold out of that. So luckily I was literally away from the charts during those two, because I would have seen that and I would have been pretty scared. But luckily I didn't, and maybe that might be my new habit, guys. I might just, anytime I make a trade, immediately find a reason to go do something else. So I literally don't look at the charts, and so I literally can't exit early like I would do so often. So again, learning from my mistakes, guys. I keep a journal every night that I do, with not only journaling about trading, but journaling about just life in general, because I want to try to learn from my mistakes. I want to try to see what patterns are forming in my life and see how I can correct those. So one of the things I do is I journal about my trading, and I journal about the mistakes that I made, and ones I want to correct, because I want that to be in my mind, so that way the next time I'm in the situation, which I didn't make the same mistake. I didn't exit the trade. I did something else, said I'll take the loss, whatever, and then it pays off. So as a trader, I would highly recommend journaling every day, not only about your trades, but about your personal life as well, and what you're seeing, what you're doing, what you're thinking about throughout the day. It can really, honestly, without journaling, I would still be a very losing trader right now. Journaling has made a pretty massive difference in my trading, as well as I started to log my trades more, and then I'm starting to review old trades every day. I try to review a couple and like categorize them. I'll even show you right here. So here's all the trades I've logged over a very long period of time. I save them from TradingView. I kind of maybe write the grade and maybe a couple things that I noticed, and then I even have starting to make a sort of a categories here where I'm splitting the trades up into different sort of playbook trades, and then having those trades there for if I ever want to reference. So let's say I see a pattern continuation trade, I'll go look at a couple of these to kind of remember what it is I'm looking for. So that way when I am looking at the charts, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, in that scenario, we had this candle, we had this indicator flashing. So that is also something that's helping me just be able to remember what I'm looking for, right? That's the key. And it takes some repetition in the charts to do that. So journaling, absolutely game-changing for my trading. Absolutely game-changing. All right, guys, so my bias for Bitcoin. And actually, let's take a look at one more thing. Let's take a look at the DXY. Another reason why I was looking long on Bitcoin today and the last 2 days was, you can see here on the 4-hour DXY, we printed a red candle on the Heiken Ashi. And again, the hourly Heiken Ashi switches are, I think, they don't always play out, but you at least get a little bit, right? So almost every time we got a red Heiken Ashi, we did get a little bit more continuation. Sometimes it's big continuation. Sometimes it's massive trend. Sometimes it's a little bit, but you're kind of guaranteed to at least get some downtrend on the smaller time frames. And so I saw this red candle on the Heiken Ashi, and that gave me even more confidence that okay, the DXY, at least in the short term, is headed down temporarily. I don't think it's headed down for long, guys. Obviously, we see this trend here, so I don't think it's I don't think the trend of the dollar is going to be anytime soon here. Look at that. And we're probably going to get some support here very soon. But that's another thing I always check at. If I'm trying to figure out my bias for Bitcoin, I'm looking at the DXY. I'm seeing what that is doing, so I kind of know where Bitcoin is going to, what it's going to do or not do. So still got my trade running. We're starting to hit a little resistance here, starting to get a little oversold. So we'll see. I might be taking out the profits of the rest of this trade. But yeah, that is pretty much all I got for you guys. Let me check. Let's go. I haven't checked Ethereum in a little while, so let's take a look at good old Ethereum. Oh no, there we go. ETH. All right. Ooh, Ethereum pumping pretty hard. No surprise. Ooh, wow. Okay, so we actually, like I said, we had this head and shoulders going, which I've been talking about, but we broke under, and then if we had gotten rejected right here and went back down, that's when I said I would have probably gotten to a short position. I might have even waited for it to break maybe this low here before getting in. But it looks like we reclaimed this level and even got a nice hammer, kind of a doji candle off of it with a nice pump. Obviously, ETH is still, it still follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still king, people. Let's not forget that. So great news for ETH. A nice reclaiming that level. Still in this downtrend though, so we'll see if it can. Oh, where'd my mouse go? There it is. We'll see if it can sort of reclaim. Ooh, actually, an interesting decision point for Ethereum right now at this line. And this could be a potential indication to get out of my Bitcoin trade, because if sometimes ETH can be a leading indicator for Bitcoin. So it depends on where you draw this out. If you really want to extend it out like here, then we are pretty much right there. But it is showing some strength. It's kind of breaking through there. We'll see. I'll have to check the volume on that, see if we're... That's another thing, guys. So one reason I was looking into that long position earlier was the volume. And one of the things I was seeing, if I remember correctly, so here's another reason why that short position I took was bad. So we actually had this declining volume as we were going up. So that was another red flag that I ignored because I just was thinking things were looking so bullish. Again, volume lower, higher high, volume lower, higher high, volume lower, right? So on this one, I noticed that we had a nice little volume spike, but it was still pretty high even on this push up. And that kind of gave me more confidence, like, okay, you know, even though, you know, if I had seen like declining volume for like multiple upswings, then I would know, okay, we're running out of steam on that run. But because we had, you know, this dump and then we had a big, nice volume spike, you can see the volume kind of increasing with this little wave here. So the volume was actually increasing as we got this first pump. So that gave me confidence that, you know, even if we did see a decline in volume, which we are seeing here, we are still seeing that higher high. And so what will probably happen, what usually happens is, you know, we get some resistance, we'll come back down. It'll make maybe one more higher high, but then again, the volume will be declining. And that's when you know you're kind of near the top. The run has run out. But I figured early on enough, volume was still really high. So that way it meant that this run was still going to play out. So those are just a couple of things I was looking at in order to take this trade here. Yeah, so it was a good trade. Guys, that is all I got for you on the video today. Thank you for joining, of course. Guys, as always, make sure to save your money, grow your money, make sure to buy some Bitcoin, because we all know that dirty, dirty fiat currency is the ultimate meme coin. It is going to zero at some point when they turn the money printers back on, which, I mean, with those student loans going on, they probably are already turning those things on. Pay off that. Guys, I will see you on the next one. Oh, I got to stop it.